to another episode of Salt Air. I am your host and Salt Community Manager, Janae Andrus, and I'm not here alone. I'm here with the one, the only, Tom Hatch.
Hello.
Hello, indeed. Okay, so we switched personas today. I'm in glasses and Tom's not.
Right, because we're going to do one of these vocab episodes, and Janae wants to present herself as smart, and I want to present it as these are easy.
I wish that was why. I actually only wear glasses when I need to see. So, and I refuse to get contacts or the laser on my eyeballs. Yeah, so I need to see the list of words to tell you what they are. And you don't need glasses because you said this is just the easiest thing for you. So we've switched because I am
blindfolded,
visually impaired, and Tom's going to blindfold himself. Not really. By taking his glasses off, he blindfolds himself.
My eyes aren't that bad. I could still see just fine.
I can mostly see without my glasses. I just, when I really need to see, then I put them on. Okay, so let's just dive right in because there's only so much time and there are so many words. So there's lots of different SALT terms. And we actually we do several vocab episodes. And if you don't want to miss any of them, be sure to subscribe. But let's dive right in. We'll try to get through my whole list today. Tom, renderer, go.
Okay, a renderer is the pluggable interface that's used to render not only SALT states, but virtually any SLS file on the system. And so the renderers are really cool because they make the entire language layer of SALT pluggable. And that's also one of the reasons why I've been working to rename SLS files. So SLS files used to stand for SALT state, which is stupid,
My favorite thing.
to structured layered states. And that's because we use the SLS format and the render system for far more than just SALT states. But we use it to render pillars, and we actually use it in a few external projects now. And so the whole concept has been pushed significantly over the years. So yeah, those are renderers. It makes the language layer of SALT pluggable.
Fantastic. Syndic.
Okay, so Syndics, I started writing Syndics literally while I was getting an oil change for my car. But Syndics allow you to forward all of the events that are happening on a SALT master or a collection of SALT masters up to a higher level master or master of masters. It also allows these lower level masters to receive remote execution commands from a higher level master. The lower masters are still the authoritative masters. They still do all the work. The higher level master doesn't need to be connected to any minions, but it does allow you to propagate commands. And so it was an early system that was used to scale out administration of an infrastructure. And now we're not necessarily looking, I don't know that we've decided to deprecate Syndics at this point, but we do discourage people from using them because there are a number of other ways which are, at this point, much more efficient to do that large scale out of multiple master administration.
That's fair. So the next one is job ID or JID, J-I-D, however you prefer to refer to it.
Yeah, so a job ID is a microsecond timestamp. And so every time you invoke a remote execution command instead of SALT, all of those commands are executed in an asynchronous and decoupled fashion. That means that the master who initiates those commands isn't continuously looking at or maintaining a network pipe down to the execution of the commands. This is one of the things that helps us do things faster inside of SALT. And so we use a JID or a job ID to track the execution. So it sends the information down to all of the target systems. Those systems then execute the command and then send the return back over a separate pipeline. And again, this means that everything is decoupled. And the job ID is used to track them. And since it's a microsecond timestamp, it also tells you exactly when the job was invoked.
Very nice. So outputter is the next word.
So outputters are used to make the command line look good. Since we're invoking so many different routines on target systems, the output that we want to see from those routines can vary dramatically. Now, the default outputter is called nested, which is just really good at showing JSON data in a nice, colorful way on the command line. But we also have a JSON outputter, so you can output all the information directly to JSON. And we also have, for instance, the state outputter. The state outputter allows you to is what outputs information when you run salt states, so that config management execution information comes back nice and pretty. But outputters are pluggable, and so it's easy to say make a cow say outputter, or one of everyone's favorites is the pony say outputter. It allows you to print the return using a little application called Pony Say, which uses My Little Pony ASCII art to make things look adorable.
Oh my goodness.
It was added as an April Fool's joke.
That's amazing. See, we learn so much when we dive into the SALT terminology. Okay, next, returner.
So returners go right back into what we were talking about with JIDs. When we execute a remote execution command, the return of that information is, again, decoupled. Since that return is decoupled, we can forward that return to any additional location that we want. And so the minion can directly forward that return information off to a database, for instance. Or the master can also forward that information to a database. And so the returner system is a system that just intercepts the return data and forwards it to wherever you want it to go.
Perfect. Okay, I've got two more, and I think we have time to do them. Roster.
Okay, a roster is specifically used by Salt SSH and by another system called Heist. The roster system allows us to define all of the target systems that we want to hit over SSH, so that we can come back and say that these are the systems that we want to either use with Salt SSH or create persistent tunnels with Heist.
Well, fun fact, the last word is Heist. Speaking of Heist.
So a Heist is a really good type of movie, one of my favorites.
Same. I spent the weekend rewatching all the Ocean's 11 movies, actually.
Last night, I watched Logan Lucky, which was made by Steven Soderbergh, the Ocean's 11 guy, and it was phenomenal.
So great.
Heist, I originally called Heist, right, or in reference to Heisenberg. But everyone kept calling it Heist because nobody knows who Heisenberg was, apparently, outside of just like nerds. And people who watch Breaking Bad, and even then they don't know who, like, the real, the guy he named himself after. Anyway, so Heist is like Salt SSH, but Salt SSH runs Salt commands over individual SSH connections. Heist creates persistent SSH tunnels and deploys ephemeral agents. And so what you do with Heist is you run it once, and it takes a second to kind of set up all your connections, but then you're running full minions on the target systems. It deploys full minions. Python does not need to be installed on the target system for Heist to run. And then when you close Heist, it goes and, like a good Heist, cleans up all of the minions, all of the agent code that was left on those target systems. So it allows you to have one routine that's as fast as a Salt SSH command, so a little slower, but then all subsequent routines are Salt lightning fast. Heist can also be used to deploy and manage ephemeral minions in a long-term scenario, so that they stick around for a little longer. This makes it really easy to manage your fleet of agents. And then the minions that are created are, of course, made using Tiamat, which I believe we've talked about on Saltair already, but that allows us to create a Python project into a single binary.
We absolutely have. There's a great episodes about Tiamat. So thank you, Tom. And we are exactly on time. That was fantastic. So we learned about renderers, Syndic, job ID, outputter, returner, roster, heist, and I read all of that because I can see. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Be sure to catch us next time, and we'll see you then.
Thanks.